So let's take a look at a picture of a function that I drew here. And what we were going to do is we were going to call this function h of x is equal to y. And let's see that I asked you to evaluate h of 3. Now, notice in this case that we don't have any algebra to substitute into this function. So we need to talk about what it means to evaluate functions on their graphs rather than evaluating them algebraically. So when we talk about h of 3, what we're asking you to do is we're asking you, now remember that h of 3 is the same thing as saying h of x. So we're asking you to substitute in 3 for x. Now we don't have a 3 algebraically, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at a 3 graphically. So let's find 3 on the x-axis. Well, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3 on the x-axis. And what we want to do is we want to figure out what that y value is when we're on the graph and we substitute in a 3. Well, if I go over here to 1, 2, 3, my y value on this graph is right over here, and the y value that's associated with that is 0. So h of 3 is the same thing as saying 0. Let's try 1 or 2 more examples. What if I asked for you to find h of 5? So similarly, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to 5 on the x-axis. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the x-axis, right over here. And we're going to find the y value when our x value is 5. So if we're right here, that's going to take us to this point over here. And the y value that we're mapped to over here, well, here's 0. Is -1. So h of 5 is the same thing as saying -1. Let's do 1 or 2 more. If I asked you to find, let's say, h of 2, well, same thing. We're going to go to 2 on the x-axis. So here's 1, here's 2. And the y value that we're mapped to when we're in 2 on the x-axis is this y value over here. And that's the same thing as saying 5. So h of 2 is the same thing as saying 5. And let's try one more. If I asked you to find, let's say, h of 0, that means we're going to go to 0 on the x-axis, which is right here, and we're going to find that y value where we hit on the graph, which is right here, and that y value is -3, so that h of 0 is equal to -3.